Hi, very warm welcome. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Before we begin with the latest magnetic pole position, I'd just like to say a big thank you to those few people that have been helping us out over the last few days. You know, kudos to you guys. You know, without you, we just simply wouldn't be here right now, and without everybody else over, you know, the last 5 or so years that have, you know, stuck with us whilst, you know, we do you know, our thing here at the observatory, which is keeping track of the magnetic North Pole and its current position for you guys. So huge thanks to you, huge thanks to our patrons, and you know, a bit later on in the video I'll mention the link at the end, and if you'd like to join in and help support what we do here, you know, it's entirely up to you. I hope you do. So I gotta say this, it's not come as a big surprise to me to see that the magnetic North Pole, as you can see there, has tracked back easterly 1.69 miles. It did the exact same thing early on in February, if you remember. It came to a halt. It didn't loiter round one spot as long as it did, like it has done this time, and then tracked back. It come to a halt and then tracked back, if you remember. So it's gone back 1.69 miles. What is going on beneath our feet right now? It has got me right on the edge of my chair. I've got to say that, you know, I'm really excited about all this because I'm sort of like expecting it to, from this point, because we know from watching what happened in February, when it tracked back, when it began to move westerly again, or track forward, it did so at, you know, a slightly increased pace. And, you know, we've seen it now loiter a little bit, track back 1.69 miles, and then, you know, what are we going to see next? Is it going to rapidly accelerate like it did from February? Or is it gradually going to move forward? Or is it going to go backwards? Or is it going to just stop? We just don't know. If it starts to move forward at an accelerated pace, this could be it. Remember, we are still past that 40-degree mark, and in the experiment, when we're looking at the compass needle with the rotating magnet, we see it hesitate when it stops just before that 40-degree mark and then accelerates, and that's where we get the, you know, the flip take place. So we're going to be constantly monitoring you know, muon radiation over the coming weeks. We're also going to be looking at the magnetometer data, because obviously we're interested in the magnetosphere strength. And, you know, we're going to be also at the end of the month doing another magnetic North Pole positioning for you guys, so that we can see what's going on. But the main thing is that the TriMag system is recording every 3 seconds the data and the position of the magnetic North Pole. The magnetometer here at our observatory is recording every 15 minutes the magnetosphere strength. We've got a magnetosphere detector in Arizona, although we haven't had some data for quite a while there, maybe 3 or 4 months. We also have one in Canada with Kendall. And we also have muon detectors in Perth, Australia, which we haven't had much data from that. And we've got one with Kendall as well in Canada. I think we've got the main spots covered. Ideally, we would have loved to have put one in Russia. I don't see that happening because of what's going on now with Ukraine over there. And, you know, it could be considered, or people would see, as spying, even though it's not. It's pure science based. We're not interested in politics or, you know, what's going on with over that border with Ukraine. We're really not. We're just interested in the data. And it would have been nice to have one in Russia, because we know that there is a sweet spot in Russia right now which is building up in intensity, and it is drawing that magnetic North Pole towards it. We know exactly where it's going to land. It's going to land in the epicenter of those strong field lines in Russia, somewhere central. What it does from that point on out is anybody's guess. The thing is that all this, every single day we do this, it's brand new. It's uncharted territory, and it's never been recorded before like this at this resolution. So maybe at the end of this pole reversal, we might go down in science history for this, for having such a high resolution of data. Remember, every 3 seconds we collect another packet of data on the position of the magnetic pole, and I guarantee you there won't be a ground-based station quite like it recording it as we are. So we are breaking new ground scientifically here at this observatory as we speak. We are the only ones with a TriMag ground-based system monitoring that magnetic North Pole every 3 seconds. That's big, guys. It really is something. But we also have to bear in mind the undesirable impacts of a magnetic reversal, and that is a weakened magnetosphere almost to zero. I anticipate we might see it go down to about 10%, and that means we'll have lost 90% of our protective shield that protects us from solar winds and intergalactic and outergalactic cosmic rays. Adding to that, we're in a grand solar minimum where the sunspot cycles have been depleting in sunspot numbers for the last 4 cycles. Each cycle lasting 11 years. That's really where we are. This is big stuff that doesn't always hit the mainstream media, and when it does, it's never covered in too much detail. I will share a little story with you. Someone was showing me artificial intelligence today on I think it's a GB News website. You can download the app so you can play about with the artificial intelligence on there, and I asked it to discuss the topic of magnetic pole reversal, and they call it intelligence, but really it was clear that it understood the magnetic pole reversal, but very shallow in detail. And I suppose we could have refined it to be more specific and more scientific, but it did put a smile on my face, because it had writ a few paragraphs on the magnetic pole migrating, and just covered the very light stuff. I'm sure where it's getting its information from is a search on the internet. At high speed, it will quickly gather from maybe a selected few websites, certain information, and it will put it in a sentence and then build a paragraph around it. But what was funny is the person that was showing me this, they said that you could also do a rap on the magnetic pole, and he typed it in to make a rap on the magnetic North Pole, and it did it as well. It was quite funny, I've got to say that. But yeah, artificial intelligence, I don't think it's quite there yet. It seems to me like it's winging it, a little like David Morello at Oppenheimer Ranch. He wings it a lot. So yeah, there we are. It's gone back 1.6 miles, 69 miles, and we're just going to wait and see what happens next. Who knows? I'll zoom out so we get a bit of an idea of where things are in relationship to the 40-degree mark. We have surpassed it. We're just coming up now on the let's get rid of these as well. You can see our corridor of where the pole has been tracking, and you can see, if I just scroll down, where it's going to head to, and where we've put the new North Pole position. It is right in the epicenter of the strong field lines currently over Russia right now. So there you go, guys. That's the magnetic North Pole update for you, and we've positioned it for you. And there's a link there if you want to help support us. Remember, we have 2 special days a month. That's it. That's the days we do the magnetic North Pole positioning. So, you know, if we don't raise any books on either of those days, you know, it sets us back, because this is really what people are interested in. They're interested in the magnetic North Pole position and the progression of that. So it would be awesome, totally awesome, if we could get a few people to, you know, chip in and help, you know, support our observatory, because we are the only one. There isn't another one out there like ours with a land-based tracking system like we've got, the Trimag, and, you know, there isn't another YouTuber on there actually using the scientific method in order to track and pinpoint the magnetic North Pole for you guys. So, you know, there is a great effort going on here, even though sometimes it doesn't always seem like that. So there's a link there if you want to help support us. I would absolutely, totally appreciate it. And the only other thing to say, as you guys well know, and that is, you take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.